Hello YouTube, this is MTGeezers. We recently did a match featuring Mono Black versus Red Green Elspeth, and we promised you guys we would do a deck tech of the Red Green Elspeth deck. So here we go, we're just going to bring it to you now, and we're starting off with the 1-drops. We're running 2 Elvish Mystics. Elvish Mystics are great because they're a 1-1 which give you 1 extra forest mana or green mana to add to your mana pool, so it's just really good mana ramping. Next, we have got 2 Magma Jets. Moving on to the 2-drops. These are really great because they let you take down all of the early threats. Some examples of these include the tokens generated by Xenagos, the tokens generated by Elspeth.
Also pack rats.
Pack rats like early on, things like that, yeah.
Elvish Mystics.
Elvish Mystics if you're in the mirror. They're just really great, and also they let you scry too, so sort out what you've got coming next and help you build the perfect combo. Next, we've got 4 Sylvan Caryatids. These are amazing cards, because for 2 you're getting a 0/3 defender, which is pretty good by itself. Add on top of that it's hexproof, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool, so it's mana fixing. This just makes the card really overpowered and really insane. They currently had a little bit of a price boom. They're currently around $5 or $6 each, but pick them up as soon as they go a bit back down again. We will presume they'll go down again in price soon, so just keep looking out for them on TCG Player or Star City Games. Next, we're running 2 Mizzium Mortars. These are really good cards. You can get rid of, again, Pack Rat Swarms, and these just deal 4 damage instead of 2, and you can also overload these to do 4 damage to each creature you don't control for 6 mana instead, 3 generic, 3 red. Moving on, we now have 1 Scavenging Ooze. We do have more of these. We've got a play set, and we did have some more in the sideboard, but the deck we think just works better with 1 because you only really want it when you've got a lot of cards in your graveyard that you can exile and therefore gain much more life and have a much bigger threat. This card also works better late game, so we've just put 1 of them in there for those reasons. Next, we're running 2 Clan Defiance. These are really solid cards. They let you do X damage to target creature with flying, without flying, and target player. If you've got 7 mana to invest in them, that's 5 damage to each of those 3 options. So it's just a really, really good card, and we definitely say that you should run them. Next, moving on to 3-drops, we have 4 Courser of Kruphix. Courser of Kruphix, you've seen a lot of play in the Pro Tour recently. It's a 2/4 for 3 and also gives you 2 devotion. And you can play the top card of your library if it's a land card.
And you also gain a life, which is just amazing.
And you gain the life from it as well, which is, yeah, really, really solid. So definitely play them. We're running 1 Godsend. For 3, you get to equip a creature with +3/+3. And also, if it's blocked or blocking, then you can exile one of the creatures that it's blocked by, or that's blocking it. So it's really, really good card. Exile all of their creatures, and then also the bonus on top of that, they can't play any more cards with the same name as the one exiled with it. So if they exile, for instance, a Grey Merchant against Mono Black deck, no more Grey Merchants can come into play, which is one of the very good winning strategies for Mono Black. Next, 2 Ajani Cooler of the Pride. These are really, really good planeswalkers for just 3 mana. You can +1 to give 1/1 counters, give flying and double strike, and then it's ultimate for 8. You can put X 2/2 cat tokens onto battlefield, where X is your life total. So a really, really solid card. We definitely say run 2 of them. We did run 4, but we've recently got some new planeswalkers put in instead, which you'll be seeing later. Next, we've got 2 Fiendslayer Paladins. These were at first in the sideboard, but we've just decided to main deck them due to their first strike and lifelink. The protection from black, well, it's not protection, it can't be targeted by black spells. That's really solid, and it can't be targeted by red spells either.
It's really good for mono red, mono black, or Rakdos.
Yeah, just really good against any of those decks, and any decks that contain red or black as well, so Golgari, Izzet, just decks in general like that. Next, we're running 4 Boros Reckoners. Really, really good card, giving you 3 white and 3 red devotion, and it's a 3/3 with first strike if you pay 1, and whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. They want to go swing in with their 30/30, let them do that, because then they're going to be taking a hell of a lot of damage on the hit back. Next, we're running 1 Domri Raid. He is again a nice early drop planeswalker like Ajani, and he's really solid. You get to look at the top cards of your library, and his ultimate giving all of your creatures double strike, trample, hexproof. It just makes your army unstoppable if they don't deal with him quick enough. Moving on to the 4-drops, we're running 1 Xenagos the Reveler. He is absolutely nuts. He's an amazing card. His 0 gets you 2/2 satyrs with haste if you don't have enough blockers. His plus gives you a load of mana, so you can dump down like 7 drops on turn 4, and if you manage to play him earlier due to mana ramping, you can do that even quicker. And he's just a really overpowered card. Definitely run at least one of him. We were running more, but we've decided to take a few out to put more room for the Ajanis and Domri Raids in, and just for some other cards. Next, we're running 1 Fated Configuration. It deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and if it's your turn, you can scry 2 as well. So again, just a really solid piece of burn. We definitely recommend you play one of these. Really good all-round card. Just shuffling up these cards here for you. And now we're moving on to our 5-drops. So we've got 3 Stormbreath Dragons. Stormbreath Dragons are really good because for 5 you're getting a 4/4 with flying and haste. It's really solid card. I'll just take this one up to the camera so you can see it a bit better. Here you go. So yeah, they're really good cards.
Its monstrosity is really good against like control decks, as they always want to draw cards, so you deal more damage to them, which is just good for stuff like that.
Yeah. Alright, moving on, we're running 1 Arbor Colossus. We were running more of these, but we've decided to put in more Stormbreath, so we don't need the reach or destroy flying so much when you monstrous it. But it's a really solid card, giving you 3 devotion, and it's a 6/6 for just 5 mana. And then you can monstrous it next turn for 6, putting 3 1/1s on it and destroying a creature with flying. Here is one of the reasons we've recently taken out more of the planeswalkers such as Ajani, because here's Ajani, Mentor of Heroes, the new Journey into Nyx Ajani. He lets you search your library for planeswalkers, creatures and auras and enchantments. You reveal the top 4 and put one of them into your hand. His other +1, because he has 2 +1s, puts 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature, helping you just make your threats a little bit more threatening and helping you diverse your threats out a little bit. And then his minus, you gain 100 life, is just absolutely insane. So we definitely recommend you play him.
I would recommend trying to get 2 of them, as they're just amazing, and they could get destroyed by Hero's Downfall or just being attacked because they're just so overpowered of the ultimate ability. So yeah, just try and run 2 if you can.
So next we're running 1 Archangel of Thune. Archangel of Thune is a 3/4 with flying for 5, and it has lifelink. Also, whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So if you attack with it, or if you have any other cards that let you gain life, such as Ordeal of Helioid, you're getting 1/1s on all of your creatures, again making all of your creatures stronger, helping you deal more damage with the Boros Reckoners, and gain even more life again with the Fiendslayer Paladins. Next, we were running 4 of these, but decided to take 1 out to make room for Ajani. It's Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Her +1 of putting 3 1/1s onto the battlefield is really strong because she gets to defend herself. Her -7 ultimate is just crazy because all of your creatures, not just the 1/1 soldiers, all your creatures get +2/+2 and flying. And then her -3 that she can use as soon as she comes onto the battlefield, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. You won't see this used as much in this deck, obviously, because this is heavy aggro. However, if you are playing a mirror match and you're a bit behind, it's definitely something to consider. Our last 2 creatures here are Sylvan Primordials. This is a 7-drop, 6/8 with reach, and when it enters the battlefield, you can destroy target permanent each opponent controls. This card is absolutely crazy. You can destroy their lands, their planeswalkers, their creatures, enchantments. You can destroy pretty much everything with this card. So we definitely recommend you play these. Really solid cards.
And also bonuses, you get to search your library for a forest card, put it onto the battlefield tapped.
So, now moving on, just going to clear a bit of space here. We are now moving on to the land base of the deck. So, starting off, we're running 1 Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. Nykthos is a really solid card because it lets you add mana to your mana pool equal to your devotion to a certain colour just by paying 2 and tapping it. And obviously, because this deck has a lot of devotion-based cards such as Elspeth, Arbor Colossus, Boros Reckoner, it can really help you again with mana ramping. Really solid card. Next, we're running 4 Temple of Triumph. Obviously, all of the Scry lands are really, really great because of their Scry ability, but also the mana fixing, adding red or white mana to your mana pool, is pretty big as well. Next, we're running 3 Temple of Abandons. Temple of Abandons are again Scry lands. They let you Scry and then mana fix for red or green, so just another good Scry land. Another Scry land that we're running is 3 Temple of Plenties. Temple of Plenty is the Selesnya green-white Scry land, and again it just lets you Scry mana fix, and it's really helpful. We also saw that this deck needs a bit more green, red and white mana, but instead of adding the basic lands, we've decided to add 2 Stomping Grounds, the Shock land from Gatecrash, which adds a red or green, and Temple Garden, Shock land from Return to Ravnica. So that's it for the non-basic lands. Moving on to the basic lands, we're running 4 forests and 2 mountains. And that's it for the main deck, guys. Now we're moving on to the sideboard. So, the sideboard consists of 1 Pithing Needle, really good for dealing with opponents' planeswalkers. Activated abilities can't be activated, so that's a really solid card. Glaring Spotlight. Now this card is absolutely crazy against the new hexproof decks that have been made, and also it gives all of you creatures you control hexproof and unblockable for 3 mana. So you can target their creatures with spells and help get that last bit of damage through with your creatures, which is really important obviously because this is an aggro deck. We're then running another Mizzium Waters. We've already explained what this does. 2 Destructive Revelries. These are really, really good because you can destroy enchantments and artifacts, and obviously it's an enchantment-based block, so there are a lot of enchantments. And then it deals 2 damage to target opponent, which you can redirect to their planeswalkers as well. So a really, really solid card there. Next we've sideboard 1 Reprisal to get rid of bigger threats if you're playing the mirror match. A huge block constructed star, and also seen a lot of play in standard, 4 Fleecemane Lions. Mainly for his indestructible hexproof ability, because then when you can ramp him up with other cards, he gets really strong and overpowered, so we definitely recommend you play him. 1 Fanatic of Xenagos. We're going to try and get a few more of these, because for 3 mana you're getting yourself a 4/4 or 4/4 with haste after tribute is paid. So a really strong card.
It also has Trample, which is a bonus. So.
Yeah, Trample again obviously being a big bonus. Next, running another Xenagos in the sideboard. Just show you here. So we've already explained what he does. 1 Polis Crusher, because he has protection from enchantments. So you can get the 4 damage through if they've got enchantment creatures, and they can't kill them with enchantments that they control. 1 Fated Configuration. We've shown you this card already. 5 damage target creature or planeswalker and scry. And finally, 1 last Elspeth to make up a playset. So guys, if you like this deck tech, please subscribe, like and follow us on Facebook. So thank you, and we hope to see from you soon.